everyone, welcome to Compass Global Markets Weekly Update. I'm Tony Boyajian. It's all about the inflation numbers out of the United States. Last Friday we saw some September inflation data print on the low side. It came in at 0.6% up. The forecast was 0.7%. The annualized figure is the key here. It's low. It's only 1.4% annualized inflation, whereas the Fed's target in the US is 2%. So 6 of the last 7 inflation prints have underwhelmed, yet the market still wants to see a December rate hike, another 25 basis point up in US interest rates. That's what Fed Chair Janet Yellen is leading to. She wants to leave. It's probably her last hurrah, because it looks like US President Donald Trump will probably replace her with a Republican, a more hawkish leader for the Federal Reserve Bank, which could see US interest rates rise even quicker over the course of next year. Now, the US dollar was weaker across the board, and its upside remains limited. The only chance we can see the US dollar rally and strengthen is if they get this tax reform plan through Congress, and we'll need to see some evidence of that happening, because all it'll take is 2 US Republican senators to cross the floor and the tax plan will be null and void. So it's not a done deal yet. Watch this space, especially as they continue to talk about budgeting and how they're going to fund these wonderful tax cuts that they've promised. Look, elsewhere we see the market pricing in now a 75% chance of a US rate hike in December. As I said, the strong points in the US economy are the jobs market and the consumer confidence figures. But watch this space when it comes to tax reform, because the US Republicans only hold a very slim majority in both the House and the Senate. And if they can't get their budget through, then all the tax reform package plans could also fall out the window. Now, next week, or possibly the week after, US President Donald Trump will announce a replacement for Janet Yellen. They're looking for some Republican candidates like Kevin Warsh, a former Fed governor, Jerome Powell, who's a current Fed governor, or an academic, a guy by the name of John Taylor, famous for the Taylor Rule. And these guys are very anti-Fed. They'll be sort of critics of the Fed and its low interest rate policy over the years. So we could see an inflationary boost, if you like, to the US markets if a move like that was to transpire. Look, elsewhere we've seen some further rumours about geopolitical unrest, as North Korea is planning a new missile test that could reach the US West Coast. This has got the market concerned. We've seen the price of gold strengthened by 2%, back up towards $1,300 an ounce. We saw Chinese inflation data yesterday print on the strong side of expectations. The producer price index came in at 6.9%. It just means that Thursday's GDP print for economic growth could be as high as 6.8 or 6.9%. That would also bode well for Chinese economic growth and the Australian economy. Meanwhile, the Australian economy continues to send mixed signals. We've seen a really strong performance in the jobs sector, and on Thursday we'll get the September jobs report out to see if there's a continuation in that trend. But there is a concern that there is an uplift in the number of mortgage stress levels. Household mortgages continue to rise, and the Reserve Bank, in our view, will remain sidelined regarding interest rates for at least the next 6 to 12 months. Household debt to income ratio in Australia is almost as high as 200%. So that means interest rates aren't going anywhere very quickly. We've seen iron ore prices fall by over 20% in the past month, and the Australian dollar remains in this tight range between 77.5 and 79.5 cents for the short term. And looking ahead, we've got the RBA board minutes out today, so no doubt there'll be plenty of news to share with you. Don't forget to watch us on Sky Business News. Tomorrow morning I'm a guest host on the Market Countdown program at 8 a.m. and also on Thursday for our regular lunchtime wrap at 12:15 on Sky Business News. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. I'm Tony Boyajian.